Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to AM-1220 KHTS. It's the Santa Clarita Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. John, what do you got?
Oh, we got Stormwatch. It's still raining. Stormwatch 2016. It's still raining. Drive carefully. Oh, and we've got special breaking news. We have breaking news. We have
Late
traffic
breaking
watch.
news.
We have Stormwatch 2016, and now we have Stormwatch-related traffic incident with station manager Kyle Jellians in the traffic copter.
Yes, do you want me to do this?
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Okay, we're up in the traffic copter, and no, it's we actually have quite a bit. We just got a tip from Jerry. She said there's a 2-car crash, 14. Well, it's 514 right there at the interchange, heading into the valley. There's one there. There's a mudslide, Old Road at Cal Grove, and then we also have somebody just called in 14 South at Newhall. There's a vehicle blocking the HOV lane, is facing the wrong direction.
That's never good.
Yes, so there's going to be expect a ton of slowing, 14 and the 5 here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and actually heading into the valley. There's a ton of stuff going on as well.
It is wet.
It's going to be a mess.
All joking aside, it is wet out there. Drive safely.
Yes.
Use your windshield wipers. Leave your lights on. Maybe keep a little distance between you and the car in front of you.
Drive safely.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas.
All right, Kyle. Thanks for late breaking news.
See you guys.
Thanks, Kyle. And fly carefully in the helicopter.
All right, John, we have with us a very special guest. This is a guy who was in the city council and then in the state assembly. Mr. Cameron Smythe is on the air with us. Cameron, are you there?
I'm here, guys. How are you?
Assemblyman, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, wait, we got to figure out what to call him, John. Are you assemblyman, councilman, or just Cameron? What do you want to be?
You know, that's fine. Cameron's fine for now.
All right. So Cameron, I'm going to ask first.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask first.
All right, Doug's going to ask first.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, Doug.
All right, we're not beating around the bush, Cameron. Everybody
Sure.
wants to know, are you going to run for city council or not?
You know, boy, you guys are actually the first people to ever ask me that question.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not buying that one.
Another exclusive for the Gazette Radio Hour. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, like I've said before, I am, I'm certainly looking at it. And, when I left the legislature, I didn't leave because I was done serving or didn't want to have a heart to serve, but my family and home life took a priority, and now it's been a few years out, and with the city council election change and a lot of other factors, as my life's gotten a little bit more stable. I've been asked about considering running, and so I'm certainly taking the time to do that. And good thing is we've got a little bit of time. It's not like the legislative races where you have a primary and filing going on this week. We don't have to make any formal decisions until the summer, but I plan to make a decision one way or another. Probably in the next 30 to 45 days, 60 days, something like that. So sooner rather than later.
Good answer. But
Cameron, there's only one thing we ask. You break it on the Gazette Radio Hour.
Hey, you guys will be among the first.
There you go, among the first. Yeah, it was a very good answer, very political, but we're not going to let you off the hook. You know that, right?
No.
Okay. What factors would influence your decision to run or to not run? There you go.
I think, sure. I mean, first off, like I said, is the impact on my family and getting the green light. I have 3 kids that are all in elementary school, and it's that's the priority, and want to be able to make sure I can balance that, and also I actually have a job in the private sector, and I will continue to have that job, whether I'm on the council or not, and that's important too. So I really want to make sure that I can balance being on the council / being a candidate, plus still being a good employee. And then, most importantly, being a good dad.
Yeah.
So, tell me this: what do you think you would bring to the table from what you've seen recently on the council?
Yeah, I think I was just reading, a report, and I was at the economic outlet conference, yesterday, and they were talking about how the city is or the valley, anyways, is on track to be over 315,000 people in the next 5 years,
right.
And and so I think it's important that you have council members that are prepared and have the experience and the ability to make decisions to ensure that the city, still retains all the great things, that we've had, that I've seen growing up here, and that we don't lose that as the population grows. And so I think my experience, previously on the council, plus being in the legislature, I can help kind of guide the city through kind of these growing pains as we people have to realize we are not the same small town that incorporated back when I was in high school. It's we still have a lot of those feelings and a lot of those sentiments, but we're starting to have some bigger city issues, and I think that I'd have the experience and the ability to help provide some of that leadership.
Everybody, you're listening to AM-1220 KHTS, the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. We're talking to Cameron Smythe, former city councilman here in Santa Clarita and a member of the State Assembly. Cameron, how would you grade the city council now? I assume you follow it somewhat or watch it on the cable or talk to people. How would you assess how this current city council is doing their job?
I think I think they're doing their best, and they're all sincere in what they're trying to do. But obviously, if I decide to run, then my opinion that I can provide things that the city's lacking. So I wouldn't want to give them an overall letter grade per se. But sure, when I'm watching some of the decisions that are made or the way that they're being made, I can sometimes I disagree with that, and sometimes I think that I could provide some guidance that and some leadership that would help with avoiding some of the headaches that that the council has to deal with at times. And so like I said, I'm not going to give anybody a letter grade per se, but obviously if I decide to run, I feel that I can improve upon or do a better job than than some that are on the council.
Cameron, one of my complaints, and one of the one that I hear around town, is the lack of transparency when a tough decision has to be made, whether it's for another guy on the council or other things, and it's a tough vote. A lot of them just seem to clam up and not voice why they're voting that way. How would you be on the dice?
Yeah, and and I think that's it kind of leads to another kind of aspect of why I think if I run, I could bring a different perspective in that I never have, and I'm not one to be political, and I'm going to, if I run for the council, it's not because I want to run for higher office or because I want to, see my name, in the paper or get introduced at community events. I'm there to serve, and, I've never been afraid to, tell the public, my position one way or another. And I think, I learned that from my father that, he always said, you do the public's business in public. And, I've been around enough to know that, I can live with being on the council or without. And so I have no problem, being public about my position, or, if a question's asked, I'll answer it. And, I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid of the repercussions one way or another. I mean, after putting the trash contract out to bid, my first round of the council, when we had, several hundred people, many of whom were my friends and supporters in the past, opposing my position, and once you stood up and did what you thought was right, after that, it put you in an easy place. So, and I agree with that. Like simple things like I don't know why there's all this additional security at City Hall. That you can't just get up and go visit your council member. You have to call and have someone come down and escort you. I worked in the state capitol during the worst budget time probably in our state's history, and sure, you have some security at the Capitol, of course, and you have measures, but my door remained open.
You're not getting a Secret Service detail.
No, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't high enough, and and my office here in the district was always open, and so I think that that's something that the nation as a whole is you're seeing a lot of distrust of government, and I hate to see that here in Santa Clarita because that's not the way we were founded. That's not the way I operated on the council, and that's unfortunate. But I share that that's been a feeling that I've heard as well. That there's kind of that lack of transparency and lack of understanding at times what's really going on in the city.
Yeah. Now, Cameron, you brought up something, and this is one of the critiques that I hear when bringing up your name with regard to the city council, is that last time you were on the city council, and people thought you kind of used this as a stepping stone for higher office. And now I hear a little bit of rumors. I hear some talk that maybe you might be thinking about, a congressional run in the future, going after a seat currently held by Congressman Steve Knight. Is it something you want to address, you want to think about, or is this something
No, that's fine. And I've, and certainly I recognize that would be something that, folks have asked and have, and have mentioned. And, all I can say is that if my intent was to run for higher office, I would have already done so.
Right.
Since I left the legislature, there was the state Senate seat was open when I left the Assembly in 2012. I chose not to run. Congressman McKeon retired in 2014. I chose not to run. The supervisor seat is open. I made the decision not to run for that. And so if I had wanted to run for higher office, I already would have. And, my intent is, when I said that I was coming home, to try to be a better husband and father, I meant that. And, certainly I don't rule anything out, like if, one of our U.S. senators decides to leave. And,
there you go. Or if you get nabbed for the vice presidential, on somebody's ticket.
And Governor Brown calls me and says, Cameron, you should be our next United States Senator. Well,
Yeah.
But
or you get tabbed for the Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, no. My daughter is in kindergarten, and I have no intent to do anything and to leave or to seek any other office while she's still in school. And so my intent to run for the city council would be to do nothing other than to stay on the city council, to serve, and try to get us through kind of these I don't want to say challenging times, but times where we're going to that are going to set the city up for the next 20 plus years, as we transition to it. So transitional time is probably a better.
All right, Cameron, unfortunately, we're up against a break. We thank you for coming on. We've been talking to Cameron Smythe, former city council, former state assemblyman, who has yet to make a decision if he's going to run. And we can't get him to commit if he's going to break the news here.
You know what we should do is next time we should get him on and actually talk some issues. Even if you're not going to run. I think that's a good idea. What do you think?
I got a lot to say.
All right, there you go.
All right, Cameron.
Sounds good. Thanks, Cameron. Cameron Smythe. All right, that was pretty cool, Doug.
Yeah.
Congratulations. All right, so now this is, wait a minute, storm watch. The rain's tapered off a little bit, but it does look like it's still raining, and it's starting to affect people.
I still need you to go get my umbrella out of my car.
I'm not getting your umbrella out of your car. That's not happening. But it is starting to affect people, so much so that our Mr. Sports, who was supposed to be in studio, is not going to be in studio because he's stuck in traffic.
We deal in results, not excuses.
So, Mr. Sports, you're there, right?
Yep, I'm here. I'm sitting right by a Subway in the rain. I'm going to get some lunch right after this.
There you go.
Thanks for sharing.
I just felt like I should plug it. Maybe they'll give me something for free. I don't know.
I would still go in with your ATM card just to be on the safe side. So,
all right, sounds like a good plan, John.
Yeah, March Madness, right?
No, Conference Madness.
See the Michigan-Indiana game today?
Who won? Tell me it was Michigan. Please.
Michigan on a buzzer beater.
Yes!
Wow.
Yes! Because you know why? Because Maryland's playing Nebraska, and they'll lose to Michigan State, who probably, my pick right now, all of us, who's winning the national championship right now before the brackets come out? Anybody want to go out there?
I can't go. There's no way I'm going out there.
I'm going out there, Michigan State.
I'm gonna say Kansas just because of the 1 seed right now, but there's really no clear-cut favorite for me. I'm just gonna go with Kansas. So.
Yeah, we're writing this down.
What about Oklahoma?
You can have Oklahoma. We'll give you Oklahoma. How's that?
How about Arizona?
We'll give you Oklahoma and Arizona. How's that?
Arizona, I'm not feeling Arizona this year. They've lost to UCLA. They've lost countless games they should have won.
And they lost to Oregon, who they play in 3 hours for the semifinal of the Pac-12.
The semifinal, that's right, because then it's Utah and who else?
Cal.
Cal?
Yep.
Cal's a dangerous team.
Yep.
You just heard it here
Cal, I
first.
feel like it's the best team in the Pac-12.
I think so, too.
Well,
But they're freshmen.
next Friday, then, is our annual March Madness picks.
We'll do our picks next Friday. We've got to fill out a bracket. Selection Sunday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
As a Maryland fan, I'm kind of over it. I'm rooting for the Capitals. Isn't that horrible? I mean, you really get roped into this stuff, and then your team wins one game.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we've got a shot. It's horrible.
You got to admit, it's the best sports month of the year, aside from the NFL playoffs. I think it's the one and done thing.
About the time, I think it's like October when you've got hockey starting, basketball starting,
baseball
college
playoffs
is just about to start, baseball playoffs, and the starting of the NFL season.
That's true.
That's a pretty good time. This is my favorite time, though.
Yeah.
From here until the summer, hopefully, with the Capitals raising the Stanley Cup. We'll talk about that. Nobody's talking about this at all. Mr. Sports, you might know this. The winningest team in basketball is setting all kinds of records for the amount of games they're winning. I mean, it's historic. They could beat, what is it, the Bulls? The 72 wins?
Yeah, 7-2-10 or something like that.
There's another team that's doing just as well that nobody's talking about.
Who?
The Washington Capitals.
It's because nobody knows anything about hockey.
Yeah, well, you should start learning. They are on historic paces. They got 103 points. I think the closest. They've got an 18-point lead on the second-place team. I mean,
don't they always falter in the playoffs? Don't they?
All right, Doug.
Yeah.
I quit. I'm not saying another word. Wait a minute. What is it I'm supposed to say? I'm supposed to say, oh my goodness, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to answer that.
That's what Hillary says.
Yes. Yeah, she's a Capitals fan, too. Yeah, they do always falter in the playoffs. But
Isn't Chicago still good? What about
Chicago's
Kings?
Good. Kings, they're slightly flawed. I think they'll make a decent run, but
How about the Coyotes?
Surely, yeah, we're right.
No, I don't know anything about it.
I think they're still in by the NHL. But start paying attention to hockey. It's that time of year, as opposed to watching spring or spring training baseball. Really,
I don't watch it.
Come on.
No, I don't know anyone that does. I know people that work for teams that go to them, but they're forced to watch it because they work there.
Yeah.
Hey, how big upset? I'm sorry, changing subject. Was Duke beating Notre Dame yesterday? How big was that?
Let's switch it around. Notre Dame beating Duke.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry.
I don't know where.
Duke's lost a lot of games this year.
Duke was not ranked for a little bit during this year. They have Grayson Allen and they have Brandon Ingram, and then other than that, their team is kind of wishy-washy. There's not much on there.
There's not much on there. It's those are the picks that you pick because it's Duke. Ooh. And some secretary will pick the team to upset Duke, and she'll be right because she thought it was I thought that was a cute name or their mascot was pretty.
I can see them losing to the 15 seed or the 14 seed in the playoffs.
I don't think they're going. I don't think they're going to be that high. I think they're going to be a 5 or 6.
So?
No, I think they're going to be a 4, 5, or 6 seed. Probably a 5 seed.
Really?
Yeah, probably a 5 seed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does it seem to you guys that it's what's the word I'm looking? Parity is.
It's wide open.
Wide open.
There's no dominant. There's no dominant team.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a year like this in a long time.
Yeah. There's no way we're going to be able to pick an accurate Final Four.
It's going to be. I mean, it's the Warren Buffett crapshoot.
Yeah.
What now? He's doing something with just people who work for Berkshire Hathaway. If you get the Final Four, I think it was you get $100,000. If you get it all right, you get $1 million or something. Or maybe it's like the Sweet 16. There was something where it's I could pick the top 4, maybe.
Listening to the show, so maybe when we put our picks in, we'll get it right. We'll get some money.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that hey, Uncle Warren, if you're listening, it's John.
If it was really Uncle Warren, you wouldn't be sitting here.
I would. Can you give me an entry into the pool, please? And just to respond to. School board member Ken Chase, the Capitals will win the Stanley Cup, and the Kings are not great. All right, I said it, so there you go.
What is Ken Chase?
Ken Chase is texting. He's a Kings fan. He's texting me on the phone, and I just had to respond. So anyway, Dodgers, they haven't lost another pitcher yet?
Not yet. Close.
Okay.
Their Japanese sensation had a line drive come right at his head yesterday, but he got it off.
See, I'm not as an Orioles fan. I am not going to put any credence into spring training. Does anybody know why?
Never do.
We haven't won a game. We haven't won a game yet.
Oh,
here's
We're
something.
like 0-9-2.
Mr. Sports, here's something that bothers me a little bit because
Yeah.
our first baseman, I'm drawing a blank. Our first baseman.
I don't know, Dodgers first baseman. All right, so Mr. Dodgers first baseman.
Anyway,
Last time I cared, it was Eric Karros.
he's going to play for the Team Mexico for 2 weeks, leaving
Really?
spring training. And you got the manager's blessing, but what if he gets hurt playing that? That's what bothers me.
That happens all the time.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Adrian Gonzalez.
the- Is the in-game experience, even though it's for a different team, worth it more though than injuries? Because injuries can happen in practice, they can happen in spring training. An actual in-game, a mattering game for Team Mexico. Was that experience better, do you think, than just playing in spring ball?
I
with
think so.
Dodgers?
I think so. I think it's a good trade-off. I think you got a very good point, Mr. Sports. Very good point.
I can see that.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a good week. Mr. Sports, stay dry, stay safe,
Be ready for next
I
week,
will.
Mr. Sports. You can have
drive
picks.
carefully, and
I'll be in, rain or shine, I'll just leave earlier.
there you go. All right. Thank you to all our guests. Thank you, Doug. It's been fun. We've been listening to Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. We are back next week.
See ya.